Hey Ringside crew. Welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe, Panther the Third.
Hello there, wrestling fans. Welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast at LIVE. Woo-wee-doo-woo. We're here. Hear us, we're here. And today I have a young lady that is doing big things in Florida. Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome for my guest. Boom. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Joe, for having me. Thanks for your invitation.
No problem. So, if my internationally known audience is not familiar with you, introduce yourself.
So, I'm NIVES. I'm Italian, and I've started to train 2.5 years ago in Scotland. And, I was just a scared kid that just wanted to see what wrestling was actually like. And, I just started my training in Livingston, and that is at Reckless Intent Wrestling. And, so I was just there, and I was just curious to see, how wrestlers trained, what their routine was, how a ring was built, and how matches were planned, basically, and, all these kind of things. And I remember my first memory was like hearing the first bump. And I was like, whoa, do I actually want to do this? This actually sounds painful.
So, what made you jump into this big, fancy, fun world of the professional wrestling business?
Well, it was back when I was 6 years old. Remember my uncle was watching wrestling, and my first memory of it was just Kane staring at the camera. And from that moment, I was so hypnotized, and I started watching it like weekly, and then, I never stopped. So here I am, 26 years old, still that little girl loving wrestling that right now just wants to perform it because, you love it growing up, but then you realize that you can actually be part of that world. And when you do, you're like, okay, wow, I love this even more now that I'm actually part of it.
Wow, that's awesome. So, you said you traveled from Scotland and you got trained there. So, what was the name of your trainer in Scotland?
Was the name of sorry, say it again?
Your trainer in Scotland?
Okay, so my trainer was Dicky Divers, and I trained with Aspen Faith as well. They're back in Scotland. And this was, though, when I first started. Then I also got trained by Joe Hendry. Yeah, for quite a while. So
what kind of advice did they give you for the type of wrestling style that you do? And if you don't mind explaining what kind of style of wrestling you do so the fans can know more about you.
I'm more of a high flyer, and I want to go for more like of a shoot wrestling, like kind of an Aleister Black, Malachi Black, whatever you want to call it right now. So that's kind of wrestling I would do. Is also because of my size, you got to stand out from the crowd. And a way of doing that when you're small is actually performing these high flying maneuvers, because they actually make you look like quite agile, and you have that level of flexibility to actually perform those moves.
Awesome. So, now you're here in America. How is like the difference between the training there at this new training school that you're at. Is it different the way they train in Scotland that they train here in America?
Yeah, no, the British style is totally different. Though I trained in both school, and both the schools were based on American wrestling, not on British wrestling, which is again quite different. But you learn those kind of things, like even if in terms of like chain wrestling, and something as something as very very basic as, I don't know, a moonsault. Sorry, a moonsault, a suplex. I wanted to say suplex done in a different way, and British way is just like rules as well. It's just very very different.
Hmm. So, like, what is it like? What is the name of your trainer now here at the promotion in Florida? What is his name?
He's Alex Borto. Used to wrestle in WWF.
Okay. What kind of
Mhm.
what kind of advice has he given you to like change your up what you do that what you learned when you were in England in
I would
Scotland?
say like the main difference as well between like the previous school is that this has a lot of like TV. It's a TV centered kind of training. They want you to be top level. The schools I've been trained in, they were quite good, but I would say this is like particularly advanced because they make you think about where the hair camera is, where the crowd is going to be, and just focusing on that. A lot of focus on promos and mic skills, a lot of focus on just the delivery of a match, which can change. Like, when you have like a match planned, sometimes there are a few like situations or scenarios in which something can change in any moment. So you have to be prepared of like, if you have a spot in mind and you want to say, okay, I'm going to do this move and that move, and then I'm going to do, for example, this comeback. This doesn't have to be a given because it can change any moment.
Mm. So, like, what is your favorite move that you've used, like in the training that you've like thought, like, oh man, I could use this as a finishing move?
I was thinking about either the a face buster, like a frontal face buster with a split. That's gonna definitely be one of the moves I'm going to use for sure.
So, with your name like that, when I thought first saw it, I thought it was knives. So, what is the term, the meaning of your wrestling name?
So it's actually pronounced Nives, and it comes from Latin, and it means off the snows. So it's a bit related to the origins of my character that was supposed to be like it was supposed to be a heel. So in this gimmick, let's say that they're this kind of girl who became very cold as ice, and as a heelish character that resembles to Mankind or Kane, some kind of like mentally ill traits, if that makes sense. And it's kind of turns against the bad guys, the good guys. Sorry.
So, like you idolized you're a big fan of Kane. Like, what is your all time favorite Kane match?
I wouldn't say I actually have a favorite because, like, I would say like every time it comes out is just a masterpiece. I would say like they worked a lot around the gimmick, and I absolutely loved every version of Kane, like from Masked Kane to Unmasked Kane. Like, I would say like my least favorite is Corporate Kane, but that is I
Everybody
think
hates
that's a given.
Corporate Kane.
Yeah, everybody is
Everybody hates
Corporate Kane. She actually likes it.
he probably even hates him. He probably himself Kane hates that
Yeah,
character. Oh my god.
yeah, absolutely.
Have you had the opportunity to meet him yet, or no?
No, but that's a big dream of mine. I'd really love to do that. I actually met Chris Jericho because he's
Mm.
another one-time favorite. Yeah, yeah.
How was that? Was he nice to like meet in person?
Oh, it was super nice. He's such a nice dude, honestly. And he just gave me some tips and advices on how to get better. And he was just like, there's no magic trick. Perform, make as many matches as you can, and just train, train, train. And he was very humble and honest around the fact that you're not gonna just make money out of it straight away. It's gonna take time, dedication. You're gonna have to move around. It's not going to be simple. It was this kind of things. And I appreciated the fact that he was so honest with me. Because, nobody wants to hear the hard truth, but it's actually good when you get that from a professional.
Yeah, that's a hard thing because like Jericho's been in the business for like ever, and like not everybody's gonna give you advice, but like when Jericho says something, your ears gotta perk up immediately. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, I was there, and actually there was a meet and greet, and I just I had the opportunity to talk to him, and he just looked at me and he was just like, "Do you have any questions for me?" It was actually a Fozzy concert. We were in Glasgow,
Oh wow!
and I was just like, "What?" Yeah, it was a Fozzy concert. I was a present of a friend of mine, and I was just like, okay, I have this meet and greet, and I had like just Jericho looking at me from the stage, and I was in the crowd. And he was like, "Do you have any questions?" And I was just like, "Yes." Well, actually, I'm a pro wrestling trainee, and I would like to have some advice from you. And I was like, "Well, what would you say to someone that started recently, doesn't have the experience that you have? What would you do to improve?" And he was just like, it's very simple. Just train as much as possible, and just believe in what you do. Is It's not going to be easy most of the times, but it's rewarding if you love the business, because it's so true. Like, you have to love what you do, because like most of the times you just go to shows, and you have to build a ring. You have to help out. You have to just help with the flyerings as well. So you have to be available to move a lot. You have to be available to do a lot of work for free, completely for free. But if you love the business, you're not going to regret it, or you're not going to be like, oh, I wish I was doing something else, because that's what you like to do.
Yeah, like the professional wrestling business is not an easy world. Like everybody takes it as being an easy thing, but like it could be your everything. You know what I mean? Like this could be like the thing that you're known for all over the world. Like I'm doing this podcast now for like 3 years,
Hmm.
and I never thought I would have been seen all the way in England and Italy, France, like New York, New Jersey, Florida, Pennsylvania, like places like that, California. It's crazy. So like my thing for you is there any indie wrestlers that you've been watching on the Instagrams or Facebooks that you really want to work with?
Well, actually, I've been watching a lot of indie wrestlers, and I always wanted to work with one of my previous coaches in the other school with Joe Henry, that was DCT. I think he has like great mic skills, and he has like so much knowledge. In terms of like chain wrestling, because I think there's so much technique in just chain wrestling. Because like people are looking for big moves, but like that's actually the fundamentals, and it's so important, because from there you build so many things. But there's actually a variety of like techniques you could use, and it's just not limited to just the basics, but you can actually get creative from there. And that's the thing, like when a coach can make you see how many maneuvers, how many like moves can you make out of a simple move. It's just like just amazing to see. It's just fabulous. It's like it opens your world, and it's like, okay, so really wrestling is not a scheme. Really, you can make it like creative and just like make something out of it that belongs to you, make it better and better and better, and perfect your craft, like with training and just thinking, because there's a lot of thinking in wrestling. Like what a lot of people don't realize, and I think I've learned in this new school, is the fact that you have to learn the psychology, you have to learn how to build up. It's like, creating a story and, just making it work, making people believe that, is fascinating, because it's more than what you see on TV, for example, what you see on shows. It's way more.
Yeah, that's the like most important thing. Like, what does your family think about you being in wrestling? What is their like? What do they think about it?
I believe they're not that surprised. Like, I would say I always been the tomboy in the family. Like, I have an older brother, but I was the one watching wrestling anyway. So I think they expected it at some point. So when I say I actually wanted to be a wrestler, they were like, "Oh, okay." At first, they kind of like went against my decision, because they were like, it's dangerous. Yeah, yeah, I know. Like, I want to do it anyway, and they're still quite scared. They're like, "Oh, be careful." And sometimes you would just go home with bruises and just broken stuff, and it would just be like, "Okay, how did this happen? Like, are you okay?" Like, they're like, "Yeah, I'm alright."
Yeah,
But
I just got tons of bruises. I look like a cheetah now, but it's okay. It's a tattoo. It's a new tattoo. Don't worry.
yeah, because they see like a bunch of bruises, like they're like, okay, or they see you in pain, because after training, you can just barely move sometimes.
You're like, I'm hurt, but I'm not hurt.
It's
I'm
a
okay.
choice. I'm
Yeah,
hurt, but that's the life I've chosen.
yeah, I'm okay.
I'm okay.
So
I'll get through it.
yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm good. So like with like in like with you being in the wrestling school, if it like the people that are watching the podcast, hello everybody. Um, if there's any kids watching and they want to get into the professional wrestling business, what kind of advice can you give them?
I would just tell them to start straight away if they can. Because, it's just something that you want to start as soon as possible. If I had the opportunity and there were wrestling schools close to mine, I would definitely have joined. Unfortunately, in Italy, is not wrestling is still not a big thing. We just go for soccer. And growing up, I was one of the few people that went for wrestling. But as I said, it's not a big thing in Italy. If I had the opportunity, I would start when I was like probably 16. So my advice would be like start as soon as you can and just enjoy the process, because it's going to be tough.
Awesome.
Because it's just not easy. You just go in there, you say, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do my match. No. There is a lot of time and dedication, and it's a lot of discipline. They spend just to understand how to make a move work and make it look pretty, because it's a lot. It's a lot. You want to make it look precise, and because you can make something as simple as, I don't know, like a shoulder block. Okay, but if it's not performed correctly, you hurt yourself, you hurt the other person, it doesn't look right, it looks weak, and it's not that simple. It looks simple, but it's because people are trained so much and well enough to show you it's simple, but it's not simple.
Mm. So if you have any like school, like anything for like your school, like is there going to be any shows before the year is over, or are all the shows done? And is there anything like where can my fans find you? Like those three questions. Those two questions right there.
So there's not going to be shows in 2023, but there's going to be shows in 2024. And yeah, I'm going to be in one of it, most probably in January. So yeah, can definitely
Awesome.
everybody here is invited to it.
If I was in Florida, I'd be there. I'd be front row, going, "Whoop! See,
Yes,
look, I'm
front
here."
row.
I'll be doing the dance, doing that dance with the guy from AEW. I'm ringside. You'll be like, you need to put a thing around Joe. Joe's VIP. Joe's important. Joe's an important person.
You'd be like, yeah, that's Joe Panther. That's my number one fan after my mom.
Yes. I think your mom would be like, I'm her mom, but I'm Joe Panther.
I'm sorry. She'd be like, I'm sorry. I'm the number one fan.
I think I'd get the wave of the finger. I think I'd be beat up. I think I'd be done. I can't do that to somebody's mom. I'm like, I could be number 1.5. It's okay. Like I'll take the 1.5.
1.5.
I'll be the
no,
I'll
never number 2.
Yeah, you'll make me the t-shirt with the icy 1.5. Like I'm frozen one. Oh my god, I can see the shirt. I'm 1.5 frozen. Get it? Your character's icy. I'm 1.5 frozen. It's okay. So, how can my fans find you on social media?
So I'm planning to actually make a page, like the official NIVES page, out of my regular page, like, personal life page. So they can find me as my real name, which is Rita Di Bello. So it's Rita space Ti space Bello. And they can find me there. I'm gonna probably change it soon to NIVES because I'm just gonna keep my my personal account, as I said. And yeah, they can find me there.
No. You just got to remind me when you do that, so when I post the promo for your episode, the @ doesn't get told. Did she get mad at me? Did I say something wrong? No, I'm not. I'm numbered 0 now. She took me away. Oh gosh. So I want to thank you for coming on here live at Joe Panther Variety Show. Don't forget to like this episode. Don't forget to check it out on YouTube, and definitely give her a follow. Definitely go before you go. Definitely give a big shout out to your school, so they all know, everybody knows about it.
Pro Wrestling 2.0.
Awesome. Thank you to Pro Wrestling 2.0 for posting the thing for us tonight. I really appreciate you guys. Please give them a check out. Go give them a follow on YouTube and anywhere they're on any social media they have. I'm Joe Panther III. Your turn.
And I'm NIVES.
And we will catch you in the next one. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you very much.